Okay, so thank you everyone for joining me today. Clarity Consulting Group is excited to be able to do these webinars every month, and we do webinars not only about AI, but about digital marketing, social media, all kind of different topics that have to do with your marketing and your success. So what I would like to do is start to share my screen, and then that way you can see what is going on. So hang on one second. Okay, I am getting there. All right, here we go. So I'm going to be going through a pretty high clip or a fast clip of this presentation. So once again, if you just want to take your time and just sit there and just absorb everything. You can come back to the recording later and take notes. It is a lot of information. I tried to make it as relative as possible to small and medium-sized businesses. So we will just go through it. As you have questions, you can use the Q&A button in your navigation bar, or you can put it in chat. Q&A actually works better for me to be able to decipher which questions are out there. So as you come up with questions, don't feel don't hesitate to put them in the Q&A section. All right, so let's get started. Our agenda today and what we'll cover, we will cover things such as, you can hang on one second. Um, what kind of gains can you actually get from AI with productivity? So we'll review that. We'll review some ways that you can streamline your operation and maybe even reduce your costs. We will look at how AI can help you make faster and smarter decisions. There might even be some hidden revenue sitting in your business. So some hidden gems that you haven't found yet, and AI can help you find those. You will have a competitive advantage for sure if you start to use AI and your competitors are still kind of kicking it around. And we will also go through a roadmap of how do you actually get started? How do I implement AI in my business? We'll look at some real success stories, and then we'll look at your next steps and how you can start today, if not today, this week. So lots to talk about. So let's start to dive in. So let's do a little bit of a reality check about AI. Um, and when I come up with these stats, these are, kind of just overall stats. It may not be in your industry, but overall, the stats are actually true, and they are ones that have been watched for the last year or two. 73% of successful organizations that did implement AI are already using it at least in one part of their business. And we'll talk about that, like the different types of parts that your business can use AI in, and maybe where to start with it. Companies using AI have up to a 40% operational efficiency gain. So their operations actually became more efficient, up to 40%. AI-powered organizations, their revenue is growing faster than competitors, about 2.3% faster. Early adopters see the ROI within 3 to 6 months of starting AI. So the question really isn't like whether you should use it, it's how quickly can you gain competitive advantage in your market. So what AI really means for business. So let's get beyond the buzzwords. So AI for business is really just pattern recognition at a really fast speed. So it's able to take data and see the patterns in the data and then calculate that in a way that a human really wouldn't be able to overall or as quickly as AI. It can automate repetitive and time-consuming tasks. So who wouldn't love that? All those tasks that you're doing that you just do every single day and it's repetitive. And, I just wish there was somebody else to be able to do these tasks. Well, guess what? There is. So AI can help you with those repetitive tasks. Analyzing data. will be able to show a lot. And as we go through this presentation, you'll get some examples. But one thing is that there'll be insights within your business that you haven't seen yet, your employees haven't seen yet, your managers haven't seen yet, but AI is. So you'll be able to optimize and make changes and decisions based on this analysis. Unlike humans, AI is working all day long. It's working 24/7, so there's no human limitations with AI. It can predict really well so that your decisions and your actions are more proactive than reactive. So this hits every different department of your business. So being able to predict and make changes before people even realize maybe they need to be made is extremely valuable. So think of AI as your best employee that is able to work 24/7. Okay, so overall, that's AI for business, and being able to leverage it. So there's 5 pillars I want to go over about AI success. So the winning organizations, meaning the organizations and businesses that have already been leveraging AI, um, so they're driving productivity gains. They're streamlining operations and they're reducing costs. They're making smarter data-driven decisions. They're able to find and locate new ways to make money and have revenue come into their business. They're able to stay ahead of their competitors who are still using manual tools. So each pillar that we're going to go over will show you how you will be able to get ahead of your competitors in a way that just compounds over time. Okay, so pillar one is the productivity gains. So in sales, so think about your business development department and how can AI help with that. So some things that AI will be able to show you results is lead qualification. So if you determine what is a good lead for me, what is a good client for me, who is that, what do they look like, and it all the way down to granular things, then you tell AI, this is the type of client lead that works for us. And as leads come in, AI will qualify them and make sure you're spending time on the ones that have the best probability of closing. Uh, Personalized outreach. So I think we all know that if you send an email of just hello versus hello, Tom, the hello, Tom email is going to feel more personalized and you might get a better response. However, it's not just about using the name, it's about when to send it and what that person is interested in. So, how AI works is let's just say you have an email campaign. You can actually send the email campaign in mass. However, Joe might get it at a different time than Mary, who gets it at a different time than Cassandra, because Joe, Mary, and Cassandra look at their emails consistently over time at different times during the day. Now, Joe might be interested in X service, Mary might be interested in Y service. So your outreach in your email can actually kind of pinpoint what that person's interests are within your company and how they're using your services and make an email directly toward that, as well as making sure they're going to get it and receive it at the time it's most likely they're going to open it. So it's not just about adding a name. There's AI can really personalize the outreach that you're doing in marketing. Pipeline forecast. So it has been shown that for your planning, when you look at your pipeline and you're trying to plan your forecasts, it is 90% accurate, meaning that it can look at the trends, it can look at where it's going, it can decide like, oh, this customer might be leaving you soon. So it basically will be able to take a look at your pipeline and overall financial stability in your company and be able to give you forecasting so that you can plan better. Some ways that marketing can win with AI. I think this is probably where we all started, right? We started with creating content. We started with it, maybe making it, creating an email. Maybe it's a blog post, or, you ventured into pictures, graphics, video even. So it does allow us to create content at a faster pace, a more interesting content that is more intelligent than maybe what we would come up with based on who our market is. So I believe we're probably all a little bit familiar with that part. It can also precisely target your audience. So I kind of touched on that a little bit. If we did this manually, let's just go back to the email campaign that we're kind of guessing. Yeah, I think most people open it around 9 a.m. Well, if you know your audience and you can target them, then you're going to have 95% accuracy. No, Joe doesn't open at 9 a.m. He actually opens everything at 6 p.m. on the average. So the audience targeting is extremely proficient, and it's also being able to come together with your different audiences and their behaviors and their interests and be able to target them correctly with the messaging that you're sending. Optimization of any campaign. So if you're doing Google ads, Facebook ads, whatever that is, you'll definitely see 50, 60% ROI improvement if you incorporate AI into the optimization of those campaigns for sure. So operation wins. So how can this just help my whole operation in the way that we do things? Um, there's many different ways, but here are a few. As we talked about before, it can automate your processes. So reducing those manual tasks is really important because then it frees up time for employees to do other things. And again, it's just about 100% accurate. So you're not going to have human error in those either. Predictive scheduling, it can reduce labor costs up to 25%. And then quality assurance, it can show issues or detect issues up to 80% faster than a human. So if something is wrong with either your service or, if you are a manufacturer and something's wrong with your equipment, it can detect issues way faster than a human can. So financial firm example, I just want to share this with you. Before AI, this is how they ran their business. Sales reps spent about 60% of their time on leads that were never going to close. They just were never going to sign on the dotted line, but most of their time was spent on those leads. The manual follow-up led to a really big drop of prospects. So after a while, we forget, we get tired, we just don't keep going back for rejection or being ghosted. So sales reps just stop manually following up. And what that does is it doesn't help their pipeline, it hurts. And then quarterly forecasting is 65% more accurate. Or actually, they were using manual forecasting quarterly, and 65% of businesses were doing that. So after the AI was incorporated, their lead scoring, which I alluded to before, they were instead of 60% of their time being used on people that were just never going to buy the services or products, they spent their time on the 20% of prospects that will automatically probably be a great client and will sign. So the lead scoring allows them to focus on who actually might close with them versus spending time on people that will never do that. It also is very automated, as you've already learned. So we can maintain engagement, maintain connection automatically instead of having to do it manually. Now, I know you might say, yeah, but I can schedule emails, but yeah, I can schedule this outreach. You can, but it's not going to be as automated or as personalized as AI will do for you. And then predictive analytics, your forecasting will be 92% more accurate after AI implementation. This is what this professional service firm realized, that their decision making was better because their analytics was better, and they were able to have more accuracy with their forecasting. So the result for this professional service firm, they saw a 45% increase and closed deals with the same sales team. So look at that again. Almost a 50% increase in closed deals, and their sales team was the same sales team. So that alone can show you the result of AI, and it's measurable. So anything that you're going to do with AI, you want to make sure that you measure, but this was a great measurement because nothing else had changed. The only thing that changed was the implementation of AI. Pillar 2. So this is for operations. How do you maintain quality while maybe you're cutting some expenses. So we're gonna get into that. Hold on. There we go. Customer service. Customer service is a huge department that is using AI. And I don't know how you feel about it. Sometimes you just want to talk to a person or chat with a person. But overall, customer service has been positively impacted with the use of AI. So there has been seen up to an 80% reduction in routine inquiries costs. So instead of having somebody say the same thing over and over again because you get the same questions over and over again, AI can help you be able to manage and to field those questions, which does mean that your costs will go down. 24/7, like I said, they're always on, they're always working. They look at the volume. So how many times have you been on the phone that you've called somebody and some organization and it said, sorry, there's a lot of calls coming in. You're going to have to wait 30 minutes to talk to somebody. I mean, I think everybody has had that pain. Well, this AI doesn't falter like that. If volume spikes, it's not affected. The quality is not going to be affected. So that's a huge thing, I think, when you're dealing with real-time conversations with people. And it knows when to escalate. So if it's in a chat with someone and it's getting out of the comfort zone for the AI, it knows that it needs to be escalated and it knows where to send it automatically. So let's just talk about inventory if this is relevant for you. There could be inventory cost reduction for sure through AI predictions. And the overstock can be reduced by up to 90%. Automatic reordering eliminates the procurement overhead. So that's going to save you money. Supplier performance monitoring. So that's going to save you money. And then in administrative processes, document processing is 10 times faster with 99% accuracy. So think about that. So processing documents, for instance, it's faster and it's way more accurate than a human. Your workflow goes from days to hours. So again, you have more time to work on higher level projects or higher level work than just those automated things that could be automated through AI. So that is a huge win when you do implement AI in your administrative processes. And compliance, I know financial industry, there's a ton of industries that have compliance issues. AI can monitor and make sure that you are in compliance all the time, real-time alerts if you are not. So if there are instances where something was done and it wasn't in compliance to policy, AI will find it right away instead of an auditor coming in or an internal auditor finding it later. You'll know right away. So there's a lot of different ways that AI can help with administrative, inventory, customer service, and many other ways in a business. So let's talk about a manufacturing company that saw cost results. And hang on one second. So their challenge was rising operational costs, quality control, and manual processes. So I don't care if you're a manufacturing company or if you're a service company, I think all of this could be relevant to your business. So that was their challenge. Hang on. Looks like something was paused. Okay, that was their challenge. So what they wanted to do was start some AI implementation. So this is what this particular company did. They used predictive AI to find maintenance issues with their equipment. So instead of something totally shutting down and now it's $100,000 fix, they can find something that looks like it's about to shut down and maybe it's a $10,000 fix. So that really did help this particular company. Quality inspection using computer vision versus manual, a person looking at it is going to be more accurate. Forecasting for inventory is going to be optimized. Workflow automation for administrative tasks. So again, things that we have already talked about, that's going to save them money. So after 12 months, this particular company saw $180,000 in annual savings just in waste reduction. That's it. We're not talking about finding new new revenue. We're not talking about any of that. Just looking at how they wasted money, it was $180,000 savings. So that's pretty impactful. 35% improvement in their efficiency, 50% reduction in labor, and 99% uptime because their maintenance was being proactive versus reactive. So it's just an example of how one company saw results from AI. If you are a service company, we could take a look at other things that might be different for you, but in many ways, a lot of that is relevant to everybody. Pillar 3, we talk about being able to make smarter and faster decisions with AI. AI is all about data. So when you take a look at the financial part of your business, you can look at the real-time analysis of revenue coming in from customers, from products, or your services. And this is all real time and it's being analyzed, every single day. It could be analyzed 24/7 if you wanted it to. It can increase and support your cash flow forecasting. So it can see trends. It can take a look at, the pipeline, the current pipeline, the past customers, the current customers, and give you a cash flow forecasting for whatever time period that you want. The investment, the ROI investment predictions is a resource that is invaluable. So it's something that you can say, I'm thinking about putting $10,000 into this campaign. This is who we're going after. This is how we're going to do it. What's your prediction? And it'll tell you, well, based on your $10,000 investment, it'll either tell you it's great, go ahead and do it, or hold on, these are some complications I'm seeing. So I, being able to predict the ROI and the investment is really valuable to any business. It can optimize your cost centers and have high impact recommendations, just kind of what I just explained. So market and customer intelligence, customer behavior prediction. This is really interesting. So it can go in and look at reviews. It can go in and look at your customer service logs. It can go in and just, look at any transcripts that were created and predict how customers will behave with your business. It's extremely accurate and a little spooky sometimes, but it's really valuable information so that you can make better decisions. You can also identify market opportunities way before your competitors. Because again, if you remember in the slide way back, I said AI for business is all about analyzing trends. It's all about analyzing data. And the types of data and trends that it can analyze really would be very difficult for a person or even a team to be able to see all of the nuances of it. But AI can. So you will be ahead of your competitors for sure to look at any market opportunities that maybe you haven't even thought about yet, but AI is seeing the trend for it. Dynamic pricing, if you are involved with pricing different products and the different types of dynamic pricing. I'm not a huge fan of this. I go to concerts and I don't know how many times you guys have said, oh, like, yeah, my ticket was $100. Then I go back and it's $200. Well, that is AI. That's AI making that call because of the supply and demand. So it can be used to the good for your business. But as consumers, I would be cautious because sometimes they are not super positive about that dynamic pricing part, but it is there. It can do that. It also will take a look at your customer and say, oh, well, this customer is actually going to be worth X amount of dollars long term for you. So you're able to have strategic data and strategic recommendations based on customers that AI is projecting will be there for the long haul, and it's important to make sure that they're happy. Not that every customer, doesn't deserve that, but it is nice to have a way to rank the customer and their value to your company. So some operational support that AI can do to make you be a little bit faster decision makers. It can optimize and your resources. So whatever resources that you have in your operation, it can optimize them and make them more streamlined. It can automatically take a look at your vendors and projects and take a look at the risk of these vendors or projects. So this vendor, are they going to be increasing their prices soon? They'll take a look at what their overall data has been with you. The vendor, will they be going out of business? Or the vendor, is there something that I need to know about this vendor and their reputation? It can take a look at all of that and have you make much better decisions, with that information versus just having a person getting a feeling about something. It has real-time performance, so you can benchmark real-time performance versus what your industry standards are. So if you could do this daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever you want to do, but you could take a look at the performance within your operation, within your business, and benchmark that, and see how you're doing. And that alone would save a ton of time for managers and higher level executives because they're not taking the time to try to put the dots together. The AI is connecting those dots. And it can also create modeling examples. And so these modeling examples would be, if you did this scenario, this is what you should see. If you did X scenario, this is what you should see. So that can be done in minutes. And if you had a team working on this, it would probably be a few weeks that they would be able to come up with these modeling scenarios. So financially, marketing, customer intelligence, operations, there's so many ways that AI can make a business more efficient and productive and overall more profitable. So decision making, normally traditional approach for decision making would be you're going to plan a budget. Hopefully you're planning budgets. Not all of us do, but hopefully you do. That could take, 4 to 6 weeks to come up with all the different nuances of what the budget needs to incorporate, get the, you know, possible costs for each of those campaigns or each of those projects. It takes a while. Then you have to do some market analysis. So that could be another 3 to 4 weeks. Then you have to segment your customers to decide on different groups that are going to be marketed in a different way depending on what their needs are. So that could be another couple weeks. And then you're going to do some competitive analysis. That could be another couple weeks. Take a look at what your competitors are doing and analyze that to what you're about to go do or what you're budgeting to do. So that's a traditional approach. Nothing wrong. It's just we have tools now that can streamline and make this more effective. So AI, your budget could be done within 72 hours. You just input all of the data and it could be all done. Market analysis could be done within 2 to 3 days. Customer segmentation could be done within hours. Competitive analysis, it's real-time updates. This is, ongoing. It could do analysis of your competitors. So you can see the difference between traditional and AI powered and how much time and savings that's going to give you. So while your competitors are still trying to do it the traditional way, if you implement AI, you're already gaining market advantage because they're still, months behind you, if they're just still doing it without AI. Okay, so pillar 4, hidden revenue. AI is really good at finding different ways to make money within your business because again, it looks at trends, it analyzes your data, and it might be able to pick up something that you just haven't thought about or your team hasn't thought about yet. So there is a way to unlock a lot of opportunities to make more money. So if we talk about customer revenue, upselling opportunities. It could find 30 to a 50% higher opportunity to upsell customers that you haven't done before. Maybe you hadn't thought to brought in services from this department into your department. So there's definitely an uptick on upselling. Retention risk. So this is extremely important. It takes a lot of energy and time and money to try to get clients, right? And the worst thing you can do is lose them, because then you have to start over. And remember that predictive customer value. So if your customer was worth in the beginning, $300,000 to your business, and then they end up leaving a third through it, through that cycle, you've just lost $200,000 of potential business in the future with them. So retention is extremely important. And AI can help you figure that out and see if customers are going to be leaving you. And, in the next 60 or 90 days, you'll get some warnings about that. Again, cross-selling patterns, what I talked about before, maybe there's a department or a service, and maybe it's just a partner. Maybe it's not even in your company, but there's another business that if you guys kind of came together, it would make a big difference in your revenue. Um, you can optimize and maximize your profit through all of its insights that it's going to give you. Operational revenue opportunities. So there might be some assets that are just sitting there. They're just sitting at your business or organization that could be great revenue streams. So again, AI goes in, it looks at the data, it looks at the overall at a very high level, and analyzes that in a way that just humans really can't do, especially as quickly as it does. It can offer process of improvements and ways that you can reinvest into your business that will grow it. Vendor negotiations can be aided by AI, and it can look at your spending and being able to tell, like, is this a good deal? Is this not a good deal? Should I be paying this for this service? It really can help with negotiations. Delivery, you're able to offer premium pricing because your services are actually at a higher level than maybe you thought. And you didn't realize that because you don't have the data. You didn't go out and scour the internet and scour your competitors and compare everything. I've actually done this. So I don't know if you know, but Clarity Consulting has launched their AI division recently. And so I went and used AI. I tend to use Claude versus chat, but I went to Claude, Claude, and put in there some ideas about my marketing, about my pricing, about all of that. And, what is my service worth? And I gave it my background, I gave it, everything that it would need. And it came back with really interesting results that I didn't even think about. And so it is extremely good at research as well, and researching market opportunities, researching different ways to do things. It can give you a lot of good ideas. And then again, I just kind of brought up the market research, but there might be some hidden opportunities, and it'll give you the data to support it, that customers, some hidden opportunities to find new customers. Or it also can find some hidden opportunities to support your customers. If they tend to get, it's called sediments review. So it's looking at your customers and what they're saying to you over the phone, what they're emailing you, what they're sending inquiries about. It looks at all of that and finds trends. And so it'll allow you to be able to service your customers at a higher level as well. Partnership opportunities. So again, trying to find different partners that might be able to combine forces with you, and you can start to do a better job with your customer service as well as the growth of your business. Um, and it looks at the behavior and trends. So if AI is picking up that when people are calling in, they're asking for the same thing over and over, and you don't have that as a service or product, then it'll tell you, hey, we're seeing a trend of this in all of your calls or your emails or your inquiries, and it can help you find some new opportunities for business. So there was a professional service firm, we'll use it as an example, and this firm, hang on one second, trying to move this. This firm did an AI analysis and saw that they missed $180,000 in unbilled time. Not sure how they would miss that, but they missed it. There was also some recognition that they had missed some upselling opportunities that were worth almost 100,000 annually. Client risk, they prevented $120,000 of money going out their door, meaning they were able to predict that clients might be leaving them, and they could get ahead of that instead of the clients leaving. So that was huge. In a retail business, there was a finding that there was $95,000 opportunity in just their product placement that they were missing. Customer hate behavior after they used AI to analyze that, their average order went up 23%. Their inventory was freed up by 65% in working capital. That's just a retail business. So manufacturing company, efficiencies improved, creating a $220,000 pricing advantage than their competitors. Predictive maintenance that I talked about, it saved them $85,000 in emergency repairs for their equipment, and their quality optimization was reduced by $155,000 annually. These are real numbers, people. These are real numbers, real cases. And this is just implementing AI in the best departments and in the best way for that particular organization or company. So number 5, the pillars. This is our last pillar. So the speed advantage, your response time goes from days to hours. Your market, you're able to adapt to your market real time versus monthly, or some of us don't even look at that, or if we do, it's quarterly. You're able to be more predictive than reactive with your problem solving. Your decision implementation can be days versus it being in quarters. And for quality and consistency, there's zero human error in routine processes. So the data entries, those kind of routine processes, there's not going to be any errors. They're working 24/7. It's this consistent customer experience so that, if a customer gets somebody on your team that's having a bad day, that's not a good experience for them. AI doesn't have bad days. They don't have emotions like that. They don't go through those kind of things. So your experience for your customers will be consistent. And you can scale pretty easily with AI versus manually, or versus hiring more people. AI can help you with that cost issue when you want to scale. You have instant responses to while competitors are taking hours, or actually days, your responses will be within hours. Personalized recommendations that we talked about. So it looks at their actual behavior. It looks at how they're using your services, how they're using your products, and what they're asking for in their past from you. And it can personalize recommendations. How many times have you been looking for something to buy and then all of a sudden something pops up? You might also like this. Well, that is AI. It's seeing what types of products you're looking at and thinking, what else will this person like? Your problem solving will be much quicker than your competitors. You actually might even be solving issues that customers have that they haven't even noticed yet. And there's seamless interactions on all the different touch points. So the advantage of having AI implemented into your organization, a huge advantage is the time savings. So I threw this table up. You can just take a look at it for a few seconds. So you're looking at the different topics, and then if you did it manually and if you did it AI powered, you can see the difference in all of that. And I just thought it was a nice, clean way to show you some of the different opportunities that AI gives that doing it manually does not. So how do you get started? So strategic is number 1. So your first month, we'll talk about strategic foundation. I'm going to click through this because we're starting to run out of time. So you're going to make sure that you set up clear metrics. You're going to prepare the data for AI. Don't worry if you think I don't have enough data. Start where you are, and then it will increase from there. So you just have to start it. You also have to make sure your team is ready for this. And that's a whole nother webinar about making sure the culture in your organization is ready for AI. You have to make sure that they understand it is not to replace them, it's to enhance what they're doing. So some quick wins that you can have: customer service could be a quick win, sales processes, financial automation. You can look at the analytics and dashboards that you can create to be able to see things in more holistic way. And then strategic expansion would be from months 3 through 12. So you'll start to cross integrate within different departments. You'll have the predictive analytics working at a higher rate. Your revenue operation or your revenue optimization systems will be all set up. And you will definitely be unique and ahead of the game compared to what your competitors are doing. So some success factors if you are looking into implementing AI into your organization or business. So those that have been successful, they start with a clear and measurable outcome. They invest in team training and change management right away, like not after you implement it, it's right away. You choose solutions that already will work with your system. Who wants to fight, the technology of this? So choose softwares and systems that will work within what you already have going. You're going to gradually expand, and you're not going to totally replace people or operations with AI. So this is what winning organizations have found to be to work. They also are not replacing people. They're just helping people do their job faster and better. Those that tried AI and were not successful, they tried to do everything at once. They didn't just take maybe one thing and start with that. They did not train their employees about it. They did not see the different point solutions, meaning like maybe customer service should be connected with sales, not IT. They didn't see how the different departments can work together. And they focused on really the cost savings or cost cutting over the capability. And they were very afraid of job replacement. So how would month 1 look for you if you wanted to start doing this? So you would see a 30 to 50% reduction in response time for customer service. Your automations will decrease, the time having to do these mundane tasks will decrease up to 20 hours a week. You'll finally be able to say, oh, I get it now, or you're having your aha moment. Month 3, you'll be able to see some optimizations for sales and improvement in conversion rates. Your process automatizations will be kicking in, so there'll be probably a 50-60% reduction in manual tasks that your employees have to do. There'll be a clear ROI that you'll be able to see within 3 months. And then with month 6, you'll really start to see um, the compound result of the integrated systems within your organization. It does take a little bit, so I'm saying month 6, you'll be able to do that. Predictive capabilities so that you're more proactive. You'll see that by month 6. Revenue, you should start to see 10 to 30% increase in revenue within target areas of your business. And then by the end of the year, you'll definitely be better and ahead of your competitors. Your culture and within your office, after they see all of these wins, will maybe go to AI first mindset, and then you'll have a clear roadmap for continued growth. So there were some professional services that did well with AI. I'm just going to click through here. You can read through all of the wins that they had. Manufacturing, you can see all of the wins that they had with this particular company. Retail, you can see all of the wins that they had with this implementing AI. So the pattern with all of this is I'm going to say a 20 to 40% gain in efficiency within 12 months. So whether it was professional service, retail, manufacturing, doesn't matter. They saw a huge gain in efficiency within 12 months of implementing AI. So a typical investment, what happens is that you have to invest into AI. So typical investment might be $1,000 to $1,500 a month. Once you're up and running, the growth package might be 15 to 5,000. These aren't necessarily my pricing. It's just overall what to expect. And advanced packaging is 5 to 15,000. Your typical returns, it's into the hundred thousands, as you can see, between efficiency, revenue improvement, labor costs, risk reduction. There's just so many ways that AI can help you save money. So the average ROI is 3 to 8 times in the first year. So really the question is, can you afford to start AOI? It's basically, can you afford to fall behind the competitors that are already using it or are about to start it? So what's your action plan today? What I'd like you to do is dissect everything I just said. Take a look at your organization, figure out where is the biggest bottleneck, calculate the cost of that bottleneck, pick one process within that bottleneck to target first. This week, you could research one AI solution. You can start a free trial. You can set clear metrics. And the next month, what you could do is implement your first AI solution, measure and track results, and plan your next AI solution based on those results and invest in a team training for maximum optimization. So by week one, you'll be ahead of your competitors by 80%, the ones that are still thinking about AI. By month one, you'll be generating results while competitors are still debating whether they should do it. By month six, you'll have multiple AI systems working compoundly while your competitors are still thinking about if they're going to do it. And by year one, you'll be much more efficient and probably much more profitable than if you don't start AI. So the organizations that are winning start exactly where you are now. There's no real difference. They weren't completely set up to start, but they just started. So that's what you have to remember. You just have to start. So if you're thinking it's too expensive, the ROI typically is achieved within 3 to 6 months. And you just start small and then you can start to scale. Maybe you think you don't have the technical expertise, doesn't matter. Most AI softwares are created not for IT people, they're created for you. They're created for the business people to be able to implement. And then you're scared that your team won't adapt, your team won't buy in. Well, this is where the training and everything else comes in. And I know we're going over a few minutes, but sorry about that. And our data isn't good enough. So just start with the data and you will be able to move yourself through it. So there's a few ways that you can implement this. You can do it yourself. You can take a roadmap that I just gave to you. You can do some research on AI, how to get started. You can try your free trials. You can learn through experimenting and doing it, over and over, depending on what you've learned. The second option is you can have a guided implementation. So you can work with an AI consultant like Clarity Consulting or any other person. For planning, you can get recommendations and it can help you actually implement it into your business. Or you can hire someone like Clarity or anybody else that offers this, a full service implementation and management. So basically they take it and run, and you just let them go with it and they get it set up for you, implemented, train your employees, everything that is needed. You just have to decide which is best for you. So the key takeaways is that AI is not optional. It's actually necessary. Successful organizations are already seeing advantages. Implementation doesn't require a ton of money or technical teams. The best time to start was actually yesterday, but the second best is today. So you just need to decide, are you going to be a leader in your market or not? And your competitors are looking at this, I guarantee you. So take a look at where this could benefit you the most in your business, all those bottlenecks that you have, and see if you can just, start small, start simple. If you need any help, reach out to some AI consultants. You might want to just look at their background and make sure they understand not just technical things, but also business operations. That could be a key factor as well. If you made it all the way through with me, I'm offering a discount for a training session for AI, offering 50% off. It's normally $350, but you need to reach out to me within 48 hours of this live webinar. So if you'd like to take advantage of that. If you'd like to schedule anything with me, there's my scheduling link. Please, connect with me on LinkedIn. Happy to help. I know that we are over, but if you just want to hang out and see if we have any questions. So we're getting some thank yous. That's nice. Thank you so much. And one big question is that if I am a small business, will AI help me? So small business can be relative. So are you a solopreneur or are you a small business of 50? No matter what that answer is, yes, AI can help you. You may not need to implement as much of it if you are a solopreneur, but yes, it can help you with sales forecasting, with email marketing, with blog creation, with content creation. It can help you. So no matter what size your business is, please take a look at AI. Don't be scared of it. It's not going to take over the world, I promise you. There are some negative things about AI for sure, but the positive outweighs it for absolutely at this point. So don't hesitate to reach out. Don't hesitate to ask questions, reach out to me on all of my platforms. And I really hope that you were able to get some good information today. I know it was a lot. I will send everybody the link once I post this on my YouTube channel so you can reference it again. So thanks again for coming. I appreciate that and taking time out today for me. Have a great rest of the day.